Cameron leaned forward, resting her elbows on the steering wheel of her Cherokee. The horn blasted, startling her back in her seat, and several of the children on the playground turned and glanced in her direction. She waved, but none waved back. The timing was less than perfect. Though not beautiful, Cameron had neat, pretty features. Her blonde hair was badly cut, $13 at Supercuts, yet it somehow added to her casual good looks. It was short, up off her shoulders in the back, and blunt along the sides. She was solid through the hips and broad across the shoulders. She was not a petite woman. In the 20 minutes she had been watching, children had overrun the small playground. She found something vulgar in their exuberance, the exaggerated swinging of their arms, the open screaming mouths, the tint of their rosy cheeks. A stocky girl tripped a smaller boy, and he went down with a yelp. He stood, bawling, the knees of his jeans marked with dirt. Cameron noticed that she was nervously jiggling her hand, so she set it on her knee. She examined her fingers, thick and strong like a man's, free of jewelry, the nails cut short. She kept her wedding ring as a pendant on her necklace. The ring, a handsomely sized sapphire surrounded with diamond chips, served both as an engagement and wedding ring. It had cost Justin approximately 20% of his life savings. At first, Cameron had valiantly tried to wear the ring on her finger, but it was a constant hazard, catching in trigger guards and ripcords. She had finally given up, as Justin later had on his wedding ring, which he kept around his watchband. Moving the ring to her necklace, Cameron had resigned herself to yet another abnormality in her abnormal life. The chanting of girls jumping rope called Cameron's attention back to the playground. The thin girl in the middle was beautiful, with curly hair bouncing across her perfectly smooth cheeks. She held her flowered dress down when she jumped, Marilyn Monroe style. When she was finished, a boy ran by and goosed her. She ignored him brilliantly, and he lingered in the shadows by the handball wall, sheepish and sullen. For the first 17 years of Cameron's life, every part of her had felt large and unwieldy. Her solid breasts, her size 10 feet, her stomach ridged with muscle from as early as she could remember. She'd always felt thick and horsey next to other girls. Her strong hands and broad shoulders seemed all the more undainty beside their thin, elegant fingers, their frail necks and girl skinny arms. In high school, other girls always seemed busy with makeup and dating and first kisses. Cameron, on the other hand, never even bothered to get up when the phone rang. Until she met Justin, she'd been convinced she was meant to spend her life alone. She shook off her thoughts and checked her watch. She'd have to be home soon for dinner. In the 4 years of their marriage, Cameron and Justin had seen less and less of each other. The timing of their tours was almost always unfortunate. One of them would leave a few days after the other returned home, and those days together were hardly blissful. Last time she'd arrived home with her back thrown out and 21 stitches laced up her forearm, and she'd spent the hard-won 3 days with her husband eating microwave popcorn and watching a James Bond marathon on TV. She and Justin had fallen in love, the quiet, old-fashioned way, with unspoken assurances and soft yieldings of vulnerabilities. Cameron had sworn always to recognize their relationship as a necessity and an enchantment. Together they had sworn to always put each other first. Because of that, they'd recently resolved to restructure their lives so that they could spend more time together. They'd dropped from active duty, choosing to remain on call as reserves. The transition from full-time soldier to weekend warrior was not an easy one, and they were still trying to adjust to their new lives. The time requirements were not taxing. 1 weekend a month to maintain proficiency, 2 weeks a year active